right, welcome back, everyone. This is Ebonie, a.k.a. Fit Mom Diva of Simplicity Health Style, and today we have Justine with us. How are you, Justine?
Hi, I'm doing fine. Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend with us. And you guys, she's a busy lady, so please stick around to the end to see what she has to share with us about her story. And for those of you that do, you will have an opportunity to get a complimentary gift. So I encourage you to stick around and spend some time with us today. Justine, start us off by telling us one motivational quote that really inspires you and gets you going.
Okay. Well, I have a lot of motivational quotes that I just really collect and share on my Facebook or on my Instagram. But one that I am looking at every day at the moment is by Howard Thurman. It says, "Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and then go do that. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive." And that's really just, I think, something that has always been very important to me, to really do something that I like, really do something that I live for and just enjoy every day. Because for a lot of time throughout my life, I was just doing life because I had to. I was working because you have to. You go to school because you have to. But you are not enjoying yourself in the midst of it. So this quote just reminds me that, hey, I do not need to be whatever everybody else is. I need to be me, and I need to enjoy myself because I only get that one life. So yeah.
Yes, and that's so important to realize that we get this one life, because oftentimes people will try to say, well, you should do this because this is what I think you should do. When in all actuality, we all have our own path to live, and we all have our own path to live in a fulfilling way. So how can someone else that may not even be very clear about their own direction tell us what we should be doing, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's important for us to look within and discover what lights us up and then follow that. Tell us about a time when you didn't necessarily see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it was particularly difficult for you to get through a particular process to overcome external circumstances and obstacles. But at the end of the day, you were able to bring your goal or your dream to fruition, because we know that it's not always very simple to make a goal or achieve our dream.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I just recently moved here to Atlanta. And in order to come here, I had to go through this very extensive and very nerve-wracking visa process that took about 5 months. And it was just supposed to take 4 weeks. In the beginning, that's what they told us. The agency told us it's only going to take 4 to 6 weeks max, and then you'll be good to go. But it just took ages. And the company that I'm working with asked to gather the information, but they were just missing stuff. So for me, it was really a time where I had to persevere and just be patient, because I didn't want to go back to what I was doing before, but I knew that this was the right step. So I think what really helped me through this was just knowing that this was the right move. This was what brings me closer to my goal, what would just make a way for all the dreams and the hopes that I have. So yeah, I was really struggling, but it worked out at the end. And now I'm here, and I just feel so much more alive and just so much more in tune with my purpose.
That's so true. You at times think that something should only take, a little bit of time, and then once you get into it, you realize that there's so many other details involved that really test your patience. And I think in this day and age where everything comes to us so quickly, we have expectations that things should be given to us quickly. I know that I'm like that with certain things. It's like, I want it fast, like hurry up and get it done. And if it can't be done quickly, I'm going to try to figure out a way to make it happen quickly. So sometimes developing that character, that patience is necessary. I think it allows us to also appreciate the thing that was given to us when we finally get it too,
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that. What was it that you were hoping? What kind of employment was it that you were hoping to get?
Well, I started working in ministry out here. So I'm working for a little nonprofit right here in downtown Atlanta. where I'm working and helping them out with their HR, because I was working in human resources before. But at the same time, I have two businesses. I have one business which is a travel community. It's called Travel BFF. We really just provide input and resources for women that would like to travel, but also like to work and live abroad, because I was blessed throughout my life to get opportunities to live abroad. So I've lived in 7 different countries, worked, and really just had a great time. But I've come across a lot of women or girls who don't know how to go about it. So I figured, why not share all the resources that I've gathered over the years? Why not share the little bit of knowledge that I really have, just to show everybody, hey, it's possible. You don't need to be rich to travel. You don't need to, I don't know, go to an Ivy League school in order to get these amazing internships. All you need is really do research and, yeah, save a little bit of money if you can. But that is what I really wanted to showcase, all the opportunities that are out there and not often tapped into.
Yes, and for someone like myself that loves to travel, I so believe in getting out there and seeing other cultures and how other people live and seeing other perspectives on life, because we can get so consumed with our local community and at times not step outside of our local community, except for maybe that one vacation that we have once a year, twice a year, that's typically on a resort. You're not really living with the locals or interacting much with the locals in that particular place that you're visiting. So I think that opportunities like that is awesome. How would someone that is younger in age, that doesn't necessarily have a lot of money saved up, benefit from your travel service?
Well, what we really want to do is also show how you can work remotely to make an employment, like a lifestyle like this happen. Because, well, I blog, so I make money by blogging and just by selling services, by showing people how to set up different website resources or web development. But if you are not trying to go into the whole entrepreneurship, there are so many things you can do. You can freelance, you can teach English, especially for Americans. It's so easy. You can teach English online, making money. You can just anything really you have learned over the years, you can sell it as a freelancer online. So I make sure that people know about the different websites there are to work remotely, or just show them the different courses, because I took a few of those courses just to maintain a little bit of income while I was out there traveling.
Yeah, that's awesome. And when you have access to the internet, there's so many opportunities out there to take advantage of that we often don't think to look outside of the box. We're used to going online and locating companies in our area that might seek employment, but with the online space, there's so much interconnectedness between people in different countries that you wouldn't have necessarily met had you not met them online. And I think a lot of businesses are now utilizing that platform to be able to grow and expand their business. For example, you and I are connecting right now because we met online, right? So there's so much opportunity and growth that you could literally find tons of opportunities that you didn't even think existed. And many of these opportunities didn't even exist 5 to 10 years ago. This is very new for a lot of people. What about those people that they want to pursue a goal or a dream? And for some people that could be, I want to travel more frequently, but they don't necessarily have the backing of their family and friends to do it. The family and friends are telling them, no, girl, don't travel to this place because it's not safe. Or their family and friends are, let's say they have children, and their family and friends are saying, well, that's all well and fine, but I don't know who's going to help you to take care of your children when you travel. Or, sometimes people have these external factors that don't necessarily support their dreams. So what is a good way for people to seek that support?
Mm-hmm. Well, I've come across both of these scenarios, so it's actually really real. I think that people will always tell you, and give suggestions and tell you things that they don't even know. So one of the places that I've lived in was St. Lucia, which is a small island in the Caribbean. And before going there, because St. Lucia in Europe is not really well known, people would tell me all these things because they thought, oh, it's dangerous. It's there's a lot of people just out there not knowing what they should do. So I figured, I said, that's like my motto whenever I go and travel. I tell people, I'm like, just don't do anything you wouldn't do at home. So
Right.
if I don't feel comfortable running around half naked in the middle of the night at home, why would I go and do the same thing somewhere where I don't know anybody? I don't know my way around. And I've traveled all by myself to different parts of the country as well. I went to Turkey, which at that time was being bombed, and people were saying, oh my God, there's all these terrorist attacks going on, don't go. And I just said, you know what, I just need to believe that wherever I am, I will be safe, because just as much as that destination can be have trouble or can be dangerous, it could happen here any day. So I really just say, go with your instincts. If you don't feel comfortable doing something, don't do it. And
Right.
for people who maybe have never traveled by themselves, I always say start small. Go do a weekend trip somewhere, maybe inside your own country. Go to the beach by yourself or to a city that you've always wanted to go to, and then do the next step. Don't immediately throw yourself into like all the way across the world by yourself and all these things. It's just because you might come across situations that you've never witnessed. So try to get these experiences in right next door. Yeah.
Yes, that is so true. And it really doesn't matter where you go. There's always gonna be somebody that says, okay, well, be safe. It's not safe there. I mean, I've traveled places within the US that people have said that. Me and a friend traveled one year to Bali, and almost everybody said, oh my gosh, be safe. It's just the two of y'all going. And to be honest, when I got there, I actually thought I was safer there than in many parts of the US. So, I mean, it's one of those things like, you're right. You can't really live your life in fear. You have to believe that you're going to be safe and that you are going to meet up with the people that are going to help you while you're there. I think that too oftentimes we think that people are out to get us, when in all actuality, I think that human beings are generally supportive and helpful. I think that we sometimes get too overconsumed with images that we see on TV and in the media that display so much negativity that we tend to lose sight of the fact that they're actually really decent human beings in this world. you know and I think that at times those negative situations are glorified over all the positivity in the world, so it makes us feel like we have to live in fear when in all actuality we really don't. Obviously, you want to have some common sense. As you said, there are certain things that you should just know. I'm not going to go to another country and run around half naked. And I don't know anybody here. I know that it's a cultural society or religious society that doesn't condone showing my body, but I'm going to go do it anyway. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think it does take some research to understand the culture that you're going into, and just be
Yeah.
practical about everything that you do.
Yeah, really be mindful of the people you meet and just understand that no, you're in a different country, so just try to be as respectful as you would expect people in your own country to be.
Right, exactly. So tell us about your other business. You mentioned that you have two. Tell us about your other one.
Well, my personal blog is called Traveling by Faith, where I really just share my life and especially what it means to me to be a Christian. Um, well, living life according to my purpose and just traveling by faith really was very important to me, because I realized at one point that I wasn't just on this earth to party and have fun and just do whatever I wanted, but I was on this earth really for a special purpose, which is unique to each one of us. So I try to incorporate it as much as I can, because throughout my 29 years on this earth, it's not a lot. I've struggled quite a bit. And I figured a lot of women have. We don't know who we are until a certain age. We follow all these dreams and all these people thinking that whatever they're doing must work for us as well, because I don't know, they have amassed followers online, they have made all that money, or they just look good. So I really try to be authentic throughout all my social media and my website, just sharing the highs and the lows of being a woman, being a Christian, because that's not easy neither. Just trying to really be, be yourself.
Right. Yeah. And I think that in the online space, it can be sometimes difficult to stay in your lane because you're on there not only putting out your own content, you're on there enjoying other people's content. And you're looking at, oh, well, this person has X amount of followers and we both started online at the same time, or this person has this amount of engagement, or this person's page looks beautiful and mine doesn't look quite as beautiful. And at the end of the day, I think that people don't care about that. Like your fans and followers that you do have, they're not thinking about that. They're thinking about the fact that I like Justine or I like Ebonie or whomever it is. They're thinking about that they connect with you as an individual. They don't care about how many followers you have and how much engagement is on. They're just simply looking at your content because they like what you put out. And so sometimes we can place a lot of pressure and stress on ourselves that's unnecessary. And I truly believe that it is important to be authentic, because when you step outside of that, I think that it takes so much more energy to try to be like somebody else. When you're you, and the people that are going to resonate with you are going to resonate with you. They're not going to resonate with the BS person as you put out there, you know? So I think that social media sometimes can lead us to what's called comparisonitis.
Oh yeah.
but you know, I don't think that that stepping into doing what someone else is doing is necessarily going to be fulfilling for you. I try as often as possible to say, what is it today that will light Ebonie up? Because if I can do what lights Ebonie up throughout the day, at the end of the day, I'm going to feel like I had a meaningful and fulfilling day. But if I step outside of that and I say, well, let me do what lights Justine up, I may get frustrated because things are not working out the way that I expected it to. I now just expended so much more energy because I'm trying to emulate what you're doing when I could have just been myself and attracted the right people into my world, you know? So I definitely wholeheartedly agree with the authenticity that you put out into the world, and that other people should follow in that, living authentically. I know that for some people though, they may find it difficult to move from point A to Z. So they have a dream in mind. Maybe they've had that dream since they were children, but they don't necessarily have the action steps to get them from point A to point Z. So if you think about your journey and everything that you've been able to accomplish with your own businesses, what kind of support or encouragement would you give to those people that need the assistance with implementation?
Trial and error, really. I think, yes, you can get a bunch of books, you can do a bunch of courses, and you can be part of all these online groups and online, I don't know, Facebook groups. But at the end of the day, it's still, you are the one who needs to start. And I think a lot of times we hold ourselves back because we think, oh, it's going to be so hard. But if you're looking at the whole picture, yes, it's going to be hard. But if you go step by step, it actually breaks the task down into actionable steps each day. So I say do trial and error, because I've been blogging now for almost 2 years, but I still feel like I learn something new all the time, especially because I'm serving 2 different audiences now. So I learned something in that one audience that might not work for the other one, but it's still important to know.
Yeah.
So definitely trial and error, get started, get going, and just do. And then you will find your way into the right niche. You will find your way into the right promotional tools at a certain point. And then another thing, I really, really think that don't do it all by yourself. Get help. So
Yeah.
when I started one, I needed the input of two of my greatest friends just to understand the issue I'm really trying to tackle. So get input. Maybe, I don't know if you want a business partner or not. If you don't, then see if you can find people just in the same space doing the same thing or struggling with the same thing, and get the input. What do they think about it? How would they tackle it? So those are really two things: get started and get help. And of course, if you can afford getting an assistant or something, go ahead and do that as well.
Yes, and that will free up so much of your time. I don't know how many times I have sat down to do a task that I was really not into doing. And it really took my energy away from then doing the things that I love to do. So although I could do it, it was something that was draining for me. So I would so much rather find somebody that's their lane, and especially a lot of tech stuff. I'm like, yeah, I could do it. But really, since this is your lane, I'm going to let you do it so I can focus on this over here, which I love to do. So
Yeah.
yeah, finding people that can help you. And I don't think that necessarily needs to cost a lot either. There's so many people that are willing to gain experience in certain areas and just get their name out there. Particularly young people in college, that they just want something to do on the side and they're really good at it, but they just need something to do on the side while they're taking their full load of classes and they're willing to help. I think sometimes people sway away from finding or hiring other people to help because they think that it's going to be so expensive to hire a professional in a certain area, when in all actuality, no, not necessarily.
No.
Your cousin that is sitting around the house unemployed could be that person that helps you. I mean, there's so many resources. I think we have to just think bigger in terms of who it is out there that's available to us to help us.
Yeah.
So yes, I wholeheartedly suggest delegating and freeing up time that we can operate in what we do the best and where we gain the most fulfillment from.
Yeah.
What is your next step with your own businesses or your own blogs?
Well, my next step is really for my personal blog. I want to be able to not just have a resource where people actually need to be online to do it. I would love to have a nonprofit at one point that caters to people just a little bit in that quarter life phase, struggling to find out what they want to do, and just give them just practical ideas, tips, and resources which they can use, like how to be financial effective, how to maybe start a blog, how to start an online business, or how to start freelancing, all these things. So I'm looking into partnering with different people who can maybe provide, I don't know, a course, maybe have a little talk about it, or online activity that we could set up for the people that need it.
Yes, that is so key. I put together a career development online course. And what I've noticed here lately is that a lot of people are really gravitating toward how to monetize their passions online. And a part of what I've infiltrated into that course is talking about enhancing your social media presence and making your particular hobby or passion lucrative online, because we all know that the online space is not going anywhere. It is here to stay. And as we talked about earlier, it's so much easier now to connect with people in all different countries than it was years ago. And I think that the pace at which we're all collaborating and working together in teams is also quickening. So I see that as something that's really thriving. But that particular course, it really hones in on you discovering what your life purpose is, but not just discovering it, also enhancing that life purpose. Because a lot of times we think that, oh, well, maybe my life purpose is to be miserable because all these things keep happening to me. And maybe God is trying to tell me that I need to go through all this so I can help somebody else. When in all actuality, God really wants abundance for you too. And he wants for you to live a fulfilling and meaningful life. So how can you enhance your quality of life so that your life purpose also includes you being a light to other people, you know? So it's one thing to identify what it is and another thing to actually walk in your God-given gifts and really develop yourself. So I think that that course is one where it really teaches you how to look within and become self-aware so that you can create that abundance for yourself. I often think that that people they get into these online spaces and they start to look at how well other people are thriving, and they forget that these people are thriving because they take a lot of time for self-growth. You know, they're not thriving because they said, I'm going to thrive, and they just leave it at that. It's like mindset work. You know, you don't do one mindset activity or meditate one day and think that that's going to last you for the rest of your month or your life. You know, these are things that we do on a continual basis. So strengthening that muscle on a continual basis will get you from point A to point Z. We were just talking about the implementation steps. The implementation steps has to also involve you constantly looking within and checking yourself, and then having other people, accountability partners, help check you too. You know, I want for people to connect with you because I believe that it's important for us to get inspired by people that are on our level and also further ahead than where we are. And I'm including all of your contact info in the description box, but can you real quickly tell people how they can get in touch with you or how they can collaborate with you?
Okay. Well, all my online presence is my name, which is www.justinefulama.com. The last name is a little hard, but we will include it in the descriptions below. So all of it, my Instagram, my Facebook, my email, you can reach me on there, and I would love to collaborate and just find out how I can help.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And you guys heard that she is currently, depending on when you listen to this, she is currently 29 years old. So this is not someone that is in her 50s and she has, you know, all these years behind her and then decided she was going to pursue entrepreneurship. She's someone that's younger and just took a leap of faith, and you can do it too. So I encourage you guys, no matter where you are in the world, just always remember to look within at what your passions are and bring them to life. And I promise you, you will feel so much more fulfilled and a life full of meaning. You guys have an awesome rest of the day. Share this content with anyone that you believe could benefit. And if you have a success story that you would love to share with women around the world, please connect with me. All my contact info is in the description box. Please connect with me, and I would be happy to have you on the show as well. And if you don't want to share your story and you just want to connect with purpose-driven women, you'll see in the description box my Nutrition for Busy Women Facebook group. We don't just talk about nutrition from a food consumption standpoint. We're also talking about how to feed ourselves via our mind, body, and soul. So you guys have an awesome rest of the day, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Thank you, Justine. I appreciate your time.